In this video, we'll look at System Preferences. System Preferences control global settings and configurations for your entire system. That means any changes made here will affect all users. Because of this, access to this function should typically be limited to admin users. To open System Preferences, go to Setup, System Preferences, and once launched, you'll see the different categories parked on the left-hand side. Click the plus sign to expand the section and view the available options. The first option under General is Email. It's important to understand that the individual user's email accounts should usually be configured in User Preferences, since each logged-in user will typically send emails from their own account. However, if your company uses one or two shared email addresses for sending messages from MR9, you can configure those accounts here and set one as the default email account. Another reason to configure an email account here is if you use the MR Connect plugin. All MR Connect automatic emails are sent from an email account configured in System Preferences. Be sure at least one email account is set up here so those auto responses are sent successfully. To add a new email, click on the New button in the top right corner. Then select a protocol from the drop-down. First, let's look at SMTP with ID and password. This is a legacy authentication method that allows MR9 to send and relay emails between mail servers using Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP. MR9 uses this method to connect to your SMTP server, which delivers the message to the receiving email server once your stored credentials have been verified. SMTP server. Enter the outgoing SMTP server name. Your email provider can provide this information. SMTP port. Enter the port used by your outgoing SMTP server. Require secure connection. Set this to yes to enable SSL encryption. Require authentication. Set this to yes for added security. Account name. If authentication is enabled, enter the username for the email account. This is usually the email address itself. Password. Enter the password for that email account. Sender's email. Enter the email address that will send messages from MR9. This must be a valid email address on your mail server. Sender's name. The name associated with the email account. BCC emails. If you want email address automatically BCC'd on every message sent from MR9, enter them here separated by commas. Signature. Each user can design their own email signatures to add a personal touch to outgoing emails. For instructions, see Customizing Email Messages and Web Pages in the user guide. If this account should be the default email account, set Default to Yes, then click Save. Finally, click the Test Email button in the top right corner to confirm the email setup is working properly. Now let's look at the Microsoft Graph API Microsoft 365 option. This is a simpler, modernized method of authentication and is our recommended protocol for Microsoft 365 users due to its ease of setup and low level of maintenance needed. Instead of manually entering SMTP settings, you connect directly to Microsoft's Graph API, verify the account, and grant MR9 permission to send emails on that account's behalf. Once permission is granted, Microsoft generates a security token that allows MR9 to send emails using that account. Sender's email. The Microsoft email address that will send emails from MR9. Sender's name. The name associated with the email account. BCC emails. Optional email addresses to automatically BCC on all outgoing emails. Signature. As with SMTP, users can create their own email signature. If the account should be the default email account, set default to yes. After entering the information, click Verify Account. Follow the prompts as it will take you to your Microsoft account, and then you will be asked to allow MR9 to access your Microsoft account. Click Accept to authorize the connection. Once verification is complete, you will be returned to the New Email tab of MR9, where you will be able to send a test email to confirm everything is working before saving your changes. If you need to add additional email accounts, you can continue to click the New button and repeat the setup process as needed. There is also a Microsoft Graph API Microsoft 365 with GoDaddy option. This setup works the same way as the Microsoft Graph API Microsoft 365, except when you click Verify Account, you'll sign in through GoDaddy instead of Microsoft. Next is Forgot Password Email. This section allows you to modify the email sent when a user clicks Forgot Password on the login screen. When triggered, MR9 sends an email containing a link that allows the user to reset their password. When you click Edit, you'll see that there's a merge field called Access URL, which is the link users will click to reset their password. A default template is provided, but you can edit if needed. Just remember to click Save when done. Also note that the email used to send this message must already be configured in the email section. Next is License Info. This section displays important information about your MR9 system, including total licenses, repository usage, file storage, installed plugins, and your MR9 system URL. You can also adjust your license count here. To do this, click the button next to Total Licenses and select Change Licenses from the dropdown. Enter the new license number. For example, if you currently have 3 licenses and want to add another user, you would enter 4. After clicking Next, the system will display your payment information. If everything looks correct, click Pay and the system will update your license count. Admins can also click the Billing button at the top to update the payment method or pay outstanding invoices. Next is the Login section, which controls security settings for users. Account Lockout. This determines how many incorrect login attempts are allowed before an account is locked. The limit can be set between 3 to 7 attempts, or the feature can be disabled by selecting Never Locked Out. Password complexity. If enabled, passwords must adhere to the following: be at least 8 characters long, contain characters from each of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numerals, and special characters, not contain your name, login name, or birthday, and not contain 3 or more characters in a sequence. For example, 1, 2, 3, or ABC. Periodic password reset. You can require users to reset their password every 30, 60, 90, or 180 days. Though not required, periodic password resets are generally recommended to ensure your users are keeping their account secure. If you have this enabled, you can also enable to allow the same password as current. Use email as login name. If enabled, users will log in using their email address instead of separate username. Allow social login. Users can sign in using social media credentials from Facebook or LinkedIn with this feature. You can also enable this feature if your organization leverages modern authentication methods like single sign-on or SSO with Microsoft or Google. Two-factor authentication. Enable this feature if you require users to provide a secondary level of authentication when logging into MR9. If enabled, users will receive a verification code via email that must be entered to complete the login procedure. After making any changes, click Save. Notifications and messages. This controls how often MR will delete old messages in the sent message and trash folders. Click Edit to change the default. You can select 30, 60, 90, or 180 days in the drop-down. Then click Save. Session Timeout. MR9 is a web-based application, and users can access it from anywhere with a web browser and internet connection. To alleviate security concerns, the system will automatically log users out after a period of inactivity. This helps protect sensitive information such as business units, accounting data, contacts, and resources. The default session timeout is 20 minutes, though the range can be set anywhere between 5 to 60 minutes. To change it, click Edit and choose a new time from the session timeout interval dropdown, then click Save. System time. This setting determines the time zone MR9 uses to log all activity in the system, regardless of where the user is located. To change the time zone, click Edit, select your time zone from the drop-down, and then check Automatically Adjust for Daylight Savings Time if applicable, and click Save. Next are the Orders Preferences, which dictate how users create and manage their caseloads. Assemble Court. This section allows you to modify the default template that determines how the court style is generated on federal, state, and local cases. You can include merge fields for details such as district, state, division, and court name when printing documents. Holidays. Here you can select which holidays your company observes. These days will automatically be accounted for in order and part due date calculations. New order. This setting allows you to change the next order number. Though it's not required, it is generally recommended to change this number when you first start out with MR9. Keep in mind that once you change this number, you cannot revert it to a previous number. Order status color. You can assign colors to each order status to make them easier to identify within various functions in MR9. To change the color, click Edit, then the drop-down arrow adjacent to the corresponding case status to select a color from either the gradient or palette swatches, and then click Apply. Certain colors may be difficult to read for some users depending on whether default or dark mode is being used, so be mindful which column you are selecting colors for. Part status colors. Much like how order status colors can be customized, part statuses can also be assigned colors for easy identification. Tracking step automation. This feature allows the part status to automatically update when a tracking step changes. To configure these automations, click Edit, then select a tracking item. Identify a step in the tracking item sequence and make a status selection by clicking the down arrow in the Part Status to Be field. Worksheet. Here you can set the email template used when sending worksheets to runners. Click Edit to set your preferences. The below fields are for customizing the worksheet email. The recommended send method is embed as email body and attach as PDF. That way the email's body will contain the actual worksheet and the data required by the runner. If the runner needs a savable printable copy, they have the same form attached as a PDF. The email subject and message fields allow you to further compose the verbiage that is to be sent out with each notification email as needed. The drop-down arrows in the email subject and email message panes display a list of all the available merge fields you can add to these parts of your email. Adding a merge field will allow real data from the order or part to merge into the email automatically, so you don't have to manually enter any information as you send these. Next are the production preferences. Envelopes. This option allows you to adjust the alignment for printing envelopes from the Envelopes and Labels function. Select the available envelope size presets and customize the alignment and font options as needed. MR9 allows you to create and print FedEx and UPS shipping labels directly from within the system, which means you don't have to leave MR9 to create labels. Click FedEx Accounts for shipping labels, then click New if you wish to link your FedEx accounts in order to generate shipping labels with MR9. You will be asked to provide the required FedEx key information to begin creating labels in MR9. Instructions on how to obtain this information can be found by clicking the Help button, which will direct you to the Help article that features a step-by-step guide with detailed instructions. Once the FedEx key information and the remaining required fields have been completed, you can then click Save on your changes and repeat the process if you have other FedEx accounts to add. Click UPS Accounts for shipping labels and New if you wish to link your UPS account to generate shipping labels in MR9. Step-by-step instructions for UPS account integration can be found by clicking Help. Repository. Here you can decide whether uploaded repository files should be published to MR Connect by default. MR9 can also track files downloaded from the repository. You can log downloads by internal users or contacts using MR Connect. This activity can be viewed under Tools, Repository Download Log. To configure invoice defaults, click Billing, Invoice, and then click Edit. Under New Invoice, select the beginning number of your invoices in MR9 under Next Invoice Number. Note that this is not a required step, but once changed, it cannot be reversed. For invoice format, there are several options: Classic, Classic No Remittance, Classic, Credit Card, Amex, MasterCard, Visa, and Classic, Credit Card, MasterCard, Visa, and the same formats without order date at the end. Additional options include stamp past due when a balance is still owed, print the bill to's phone and fax numbers, and show split information in the service name. Under email settings, it will show attach as PDF, as this is how the invoices will attach to the email. Below that, compose the email subject and email message, and use the drop-downs to insert merge fields as needed. Click Save when done. Under Receivables, we have Payment Receipts. MR9 allows you to send payment receipts after you've posted a payment transaction. This section lets you configure the email subject for that message. The email body itself is determined by the selected template found in Form Templates. Statements. There are several statement format options that dictate the remittance style printed on the statement cover sheet. Classic, Classic No Remittance, Classic Credit Card, Amex, MasterCard, and Visa, and Credit Card, MasterCard, Visa are 4 options, as well as the same 4 options with client matter number at the end. You also have an option to choose to print the bill to, phone, and fax numbers on the statement. The Color of Age section allows you to assign colors based on an invoice age. The invoice text will be printed in the selected color on the statement. For email statements, configure the email subject and message under Email Settings. The statement will attach as a PDF and accompany the template email you just created. Payables. Check. Here you can denote whether or not you want your fee checks printed in voucher style. You can also modify certain check properties related to printing alignment. Check reconciliation data preferences. MR9 can import bank statement data formatted as plain fixed length ASCII files. You can configure the position of each data file within the file. These settings determine where MR9 reads values such as check number and amount. Changes take effect the next time the user logs in to MR9. Tools. Click Email Log, then click Edit to set email logging preferences for different types of correspondence emailed from MR. This preference pane allows you to control how MR9 cleans up the log, as well as which types of emails are logged in the first place. Email logging adds to your overall repository usage, so decide carefully which emails to log. QuickBooks integration. MR9 integrates with both QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop. Detailed setup instructions for both options are available by clicking the Help button at the top right of the Preferences pane. For QuickBooks Online, follow the instructions from our user guide for generating QuickBooks Online credentials. Once you have completed the setup, input your client ID and client secret in the fields. You can then click Test Connection for QuickBooks Online to see if RB9 can connect with your QuickBooks Online account. For QuickBooks Desktop, enter your user account name and password for QuickBooks, as well as the IP or URL where QuickBooks is installed. You will need to open a port on your firewall and forward the traffic to your QuickBooks computer. The default port is 8166, but you can set any port that is available if you'd like. Once you have your settings input, you can click Check Port as Open to see if the port scans open or closed. Then click Save. Please note that if you use QuickBooks Desktop, you'll need to install the remote connector on the workstation where QuickBooks is installed. Instructions for this portion can again be found in the instructions from the user guide. Finally, we have Entity Defaults. This section allows you to configure default settings when creating new firms or contacts. For contacts, you can control how the full name automatically populates using merge fields. For firms, you can set defaults such as late charge rate, finance charge rate, sales tax rate, invoice past due in days, or always print details on invoices. Once finished, click Save to save your changes.